At 18, I walked into college with a backpack full of expectations, doing everything that I thought I should be doing. I had great grades, chose the perfect major, had this buttoned up image, whatever the heck that means, and I realized I had no idea who I actually was. Hi, I'm Juliana. I spent 4 years in college trying to be someone who I wasn't. And here's the kicker. I had no idea who I was. I was definitely masking parts of me, ignoring what I loved. I just chasing what looked right. And if you're feeling the pressure to have everything figured out, your major, your identity, your future, here are 3 things that I wish someone had told me. These are the things that I would do differently in order to save myself a world of hurt and a world of regret. Because college gives you freedom, but freedom without clarity is just equal to emptiness. And because the ADHD in women, it doesn't look the same as it does in men. That means more masking, more internal struggle, and later diagnosis. In one recent study, it shows that it takes 4 more years on average for women to be formally diagnosed than it does for men. And because depression and anxiety don't just appear out of nowhere. Sometimes they build up when you're suppressing who you actually are. And if you think you have ADHD and no formal diagnosis yet, the feelings of falling behind, being lost, feeling exhausted, they are real and they are common. What does this percent of women with ADHD also have other things underlying, like anxiety and depression? So here are 3 things from those years that I wish I had known. Let's start. You do not need to follow someone else's perfect path. In high school, I was the perfect student. I had a structured, scheduled, rigid expectations, and I was always doing what looked best. But once you get to college, I feel like everyone just expects you to lead the show, right? You have to learn how to manage your schedule on your own. Instead of having those direct classes that you just have every day and those teachers that you see every day on your butt to get things done, maybe you have a teacher you'll see max 3 times a week. So you don't have any external prompts when you get to college of people being on your butt about getting things complete, getting things done. And there aren't many regular, let's say, consequences of not completing tasks, unlike in high school, where if you don't complete a task every day, you're gonna get that grade, you're gonna get detention, or you're gonna get a 0 for that entire day. In college, you have those structured assignments, but let's say you skip 2 classes. Unless the teacher grades on attendance, which a lot of my teachers just did not, you could just technically go free-flowing throughout the entire semester without even attending a single class. And the consequence that you're going to get for that, you only see at the end of the semester, where you have a final. You have no idea what the heck is on the final, and you just fail the final. Unlike high school, where your consequences are daily. So as I was in college, I was just trying to navigate this new path. So what did I do? Which, looking back, was a terrible decision. I slowly started freezing what I really like to do. So I'm showing up to the things that I really like to do, which was creative reading, making stupid little funny TikToks for my small bookstagram and my small book talk community back in 2020. And even though I had originally picked a pretty good major, I kept switching around my classes and thinking in my brain, is this really the best thing that I should be doing right now? Should I switch over to creative writing, public communication, and journalism? I had no idea what I was doing. And so while I was trying to figure out everything that I was doing, because I felt like I had to have everything figured out and follow this perfect path to graduate on time, to get a job after college, I slowly just started straying away from the path of things that I actually enjoyed. I felt like I had to pick the perfect path right now and not what felt right. And this is for you. You do not have to pick your forever path in college. You don't even have to graduate in 4 years if that means losing yourself. I want you to give yourself permission to explore. Join those silly little clubs that might be stupid. I want you to take different classes. Don't feel like you need to be stuck on the classes that you need for your major. Try different things out. I took a freaking geology class. Don't worry about being professional from day one. Because the path doesn't need to look perfect. It needs to ring true to yourself. Which kind of leads me into my second point. I want you to know your brain and be kind with it. The only person that is going to be with you until the end of your days is your own brain. I thought I was always just lazy or just procrastinating any assignments or any tasks that I needed to do until my senior year of college, in my second final semester, when I finally got diagnosed with ADHD. And looking back, the way I functioned during those 4 years, just suppressing my impulses, hiding my messiness, because those who know me know that I'm like this. I clean this up 5 seconds before filming. I'm an internally messy person. I was also terrified of letting people down. And it wasn't a fear that's just like, oh, I'm scared. No, it was a detrimental fear, one that paralyzed me. A lot of the times where I would literally sit in my bed and I couldn't do anything for 2-3 days because I was so terrified. And inherently so, I would end up disappointing people either way because I couldn't act. I had a paralysis. But all of this was because I was fighting my wiring. And the worst part, depression kicked in. So the exhaustion, the anxiety, I was exhausted of myself, actually. The thought of, why can't I keep up? I saw all of my peers, they all had their lives together, right? They would be able to wake up early and maybe get a workout in and go straight to class. And they just had their lives figured out, but I couldn't. And I kept trying to, but I couldn't. And I tried again and I couldn't. And I failed a lot of the time. Why couldn't I keep up? And the problem is that nobody talks about how the process with ADHD, especially in women, looks really different. So during my buttloads of research after I started to understand my diagnosis a little bit more, is that women usually show the inattentive type of ADHD. So that means less hyperactivity, which means that our ADHD is more likely to hide rather than to stand out. And the issue with that is that anxiety disorders occur in about 25 to 50% of people with ADHD, which means, let's say you get quote unquote diagnosed with anxiety first than you do with ADHD. Maybe you're taking medications or trying to figure different things out, but you're not actually solving the core problem. You're just trying to mask the issue on top. So instead of curing the underlying disease, you're just swiping away at what's on top of it and not curing the deep-rooted issue. So here would be my advice for you if you are relating to any part of this story. Find out if ADHD might be a part of your story. Talk to a professional, get assessments, get real with yourself, right? I've even talked to my best friend of 12 years about this. Why not? For example, what I did was, I'm not sponsored by ZocDoc. They don't even know me. But I downloaded ZocDoc the same day where I had wake-up call from my mother, actually. She was very worried about me. And we had a little bit of a hard conversation of, you're not doing anything. This isn't bettering your life. We're very worried about you. You need to fix it. I can't help you. Dad can't help you. You need to go find help. And so usually wake-up calls with me work really well, because I'll do it immediately. And so I sat with her, I downloaded ZocDoc, it was the easiest way, put in my insurance, and found an online professional who could help me, and the rest is really history. So do whatever you can to see. It doesn't hurt to just see. You need to narrow down the source of your pain. Another thing, build routines tailored to your brain. I'm not telling you to download an app. I'm not telling you to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning or to create a structured routine, because God knows that doesn't help us. I need to give yourself breathing room, wiggle room. If I already know that I'm gonna fail, I need to put a fail-safe in. Figure something out that's according to your brain. And I can definitely make another video on small routines and things that I do that do help me now. But also prioritize mental health alongside achievements, grades, anything like that. Prioritize therapy, prioritize rest, prioritize community. Get back to hanging out with people. Get back to finding your circle of people who understand you, circle of people that you're excited to hang out with. Because turns out when you're doing tasks or when you're hanging out in community, you get a lot more things done. That battle with yourself is not laziness. You need to take that out of your head. It's not laziness. It is real and it deserves compassion. You need to be compassionate with yourself. Show up for yourself. My third lesson, you are allowed to grow. You do not have to stay fixed. My senior year of high school was when COVID hit. I felt alive making TikToks. I felt alive writing books, being creative. I was a part of NaNoWriMo for so many years. I believe I even still have some videos on my channel of when I was in high school and I was writing stories and I was having so much fun. I was alive during that era though, making videos, being creative, having fun, playing with makeup, trying different things out. But then there was one thing that I heard. That's cute, but focus on what people are going to take seriously. So I pushed down what I love. I pushed down everything that made life fun for me, really, and I tried to focus on what was the perfect path. I got serious and I tried to mold into some perfect image. Now, because I was used to external structure in high school, I thought that being an adult meant being serious, being uniform, rigid. I had no idea what I was doing with my life. And when I would watch my YouTube videos back again, when I would watch my TikToks back again, that part of me was a stranger. I didn't know how to do it anymore. I was like, was that really me? Did I really do all that? Yeah, girl, that was you. And you had so much fun doing that. You stopped it because of outside noise. Now, to grow means to redefine yourself. What you liked a couple of years ago or in your freshman year, your senior year, that isn't what officially defines you. Consider it just data points leading up to small pieces that builds up who you are. I want you to allow your identity to shift alongside your major, alongside your career, alongside your future, all of your tool sets. You can evolve, you can grow, you can change, and that is a-okay. Change is scary, but change is good. You're just adding depth to your story. Let go of the shame of not having it all figured out. You do not have to. You're barely starting your life journey. Your right now choices do not have to be forever. It is okay to change. All of this comes into one mindset that changed the game for me to this day and will forever continue to do so. Own your time. Own your journey. You do not need a 4-year plan that never changes. You don't need a 5-year plan. You don't need a 10-year plan. You do not need to know all of the answers by graduation date. What you need right now is honesty with yourself, the courage to try out new things, and the patience to grow. Because at the end of the day, your path matters more than how fast you run. If there's one thing I want you to take away from this video, treat your life like a story, not a test. Every chapter isn't about being perfect. It's about developing you. If this even helped a little, share it, like it, talk about it. Maybe it helps someone else who's frozen, still trying to figure it out. Thanks for being here.